So my goal today is to get an urban environmental portrait, which means we're coming out here and we're in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. What we want to do is walk over till we find something a little more interesting to shoot against. And what I'm looking for is color and dimension and more shapes and such. And then so we'll have our model shoot in a way that everything is in focus. So it's going to be a narrow aperture or an extended field of focus. And in that regard, we should be able to get a lot of different colors and pops and shapes and expression and have a great landscape portrait that really works. Well, that's pretty cool though. Dang it, that's so cool right away. Hold on, let's jump over here. Plus it's protected. We'll get a little, no, it's not protected. It's really cold. Let's do 2 seconds. Okay, he's like, great, I'm running. If I'm going like this, I'm not in the middle. If I'm going like this, I'm not in the middle. But if I go like this, I'm so in the middle. See? All right, go. Right at me, right at me. Oh, there it is. That was good, that was good. We found this spot that has some interesting points to it with so much kind of gray and bland down here. We've got this nice dimension here in terms of the circular structure. And we've got this red pop of color and these red tulips, and we've got this beautiful little boy who also has these similar colors, the red and the vibrancy, and he's so cute. So we're gonna use this to do a bit more of an environmental portrait where we have a lot in focus. We've got to shoot around people going by. The other thing I have to do is make sure that my little model is kind of not feeling insecure or uncomfortable out here. So even though I want this kind of dramatic look from him, I don't want him to feel like intimidated with all the crowd. So right now it's a nice quiet time and it's a great time to shoot, so I'm gonna do that. All right, Kingston, you ready to go? I'm getting some shots where there's no one in here, but I'm also making sure to get some where there are people that are vaguely out of the shot, but you could tell there's a hustle, bustle, and an energy. And I want that in part of these because when it's all said and done, I'm either gonna have him in this clean open space or I'm gonna have it where it looks like there's an energy surrounding the space. So I'm trying to shoot both. One of the things I find that's so significant about changing my angle is every once in a while there's just something I didn't see, and that is not unusual to kind of feel like you've had the whole scene and you missed it. Yep, all right, good, we got it. Time to go edit these environmental portraits in ON1 Photo RAW 2019. You didn't blow it up either. What's up with kids not blowing it up nowadays? No, 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 cut that part. Okay, so I am back in front of my laptop, which is nice because it's much warmer here than it was out on the shoot. And I'm editing an ON1 Photo RAW 2019. I've selected a couple that I really like, just 5-starring them. There it is. After the shoot, which is fun to do. One of my favorite parts, actually kind of seeing what you got and what you're going to do with it next. But this is the image that I know I want to work on. I'm going to open this up and immediately start to do some fun editing. I kind of think of fun editing as not just kind of finishing an image or this or that, but playing with it a little bit more to make it into something that just, I wasn't going to try to do this on the shoot, but later I think, wouldn't it be cool if we made some adjustments here? So I'm going to go into the edit mode and start with tone and color. I do a lot here in this area, this whole vicinity, and now in ON1 Photo RAW 2019, I'm going to play around with some of these adjustments and utilize some of the power under this hood. I'm going to really bring the highlights down. If you can see what's happening here, managing some of that brightness to really, what I want to do is kind of neutralize the photo. I can do some more of this by pulling some of the whites down. You see here going up, and here I'm going to go all the way down. This makes a nice difference in terms of just bringing all that into a clean space together. Often, sometimes when I have a very bright image that's more monochromatic other than what he's wearing, that's one way to make a big difference. Lens correction and transform is really where I'm going to play a lot more. I'm going to, on purpose, distort this image by pulling this out a little bit, and then I'm going to keep going by going into the transform mode and play around a little bit. So shooting vertically, this would be like adjusting the angle I was shooting from. So I'm going to adjust it so I'm kind of in this range. And horizontally, I want to pull this wall out a little bit, just to have you kind of see him running towards me, and rotate it a little bit, almost to mimic a camera tilt. Yeah, somewhere there. There, I like that. And then because we want to fix this all up, I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to scale to an effect that sorts all this out, but doesn't have it so close that I'm losing some of the impact. There, I like how that settled in. And right before I do anything else, I'm already quite liking where this is. I might do a hint of a crop on this just because I don't like how you see that little clip of his foot. But I don't want to go up to the knees, so that's kind of a nice way to finish that. And there's a lot more I can do with this. I can, and I actually am. I'm going to do one more thing before I go. I'm going to pop over into effects and add my dynamic contrast, just because I'd like to tighten this up a little bit more, but at the same time keep it really soft looking. That's what kind of dragging the slider down here does. It kind of softens it up a little bit. And maybe do, if I'm looking back here, you see how this is kind of neutral, these panels? I'm going to go add a filter in color adjustment that's going to let me really target those colors. So if I go into sky and I take these hues, if you see right here, just look at the back, what's happening. Do you see how it's adjusting? I'm going to really pull this down quite a lot. You can see how that just gets now very bright and colorful. I'm going to pull the saturation up just a little bit more. And to me, that's so interesting. We brought out some of the color in his shirt. We really popped those colors back there. This gives an otherwise monochromatic feel, a little bit of a pop back there, and then of course in the clothes he's wearing. I like that. So I started here. I end here. See the difference? To me, it just brings you so much more into the image. It's got more dynamic feel. It's more interesting in terms of that camera tilt. And I like that just really suggestive pop of color all the way around. And I'm done.